Hey everyone, welcome back to Drama or Hum for our weekly review of Faraar and Qarz-e-Jaan. I am Aisha from Lahore, Pakistan.
I'm Mariam from Mumbai, India.
Mariam, should we start with Faraar as always first?
Yes, let's do that. Let's start with Faraar. Okay, so this week, good episode. I liked it. They did all the four stories or three stories or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, they showed Buggy's story, or what is her name in the
Buggy.
show? नहीं, उसका नाम क्या है?
Nazo?
ना या कुछ तो ऐसे है ना.
हाँ.
तो देयर आई वाज अ बिट कंफ्यूज कौन चौधरी कौन है क्योंकि
हाँ.
चौधरी अशफाक और चौधरी
Akmal.
अकमल.
हाँ.
So I think Ashfaq is Akmal's friend and Akmal was her husband, है
Husband.
ना?
Exactly.
वही मैंने
हाँ.
that is why I was like कौन सा चौधरी कौन है. That was a bit confused, but it's interesting to see that progress, right? Because that was a good, those two tracks were going parallel where
हाँ.
she's thinking, she didn't tell the story, but it's told from this angle. So I liked
Yeah.
that they did it that way. Then obviously the meeting of apna favorite inspector. What's his name?
Fussy.
Fasi or Mohsin Bey. This
हाँ.
Mohsin Beg actor is pretty handsome, or at least not. I don't know. Handsome is the right word.
He
Great
fits the
personality.
yeah. He has a very screen presence. Like his screen presence is
Yeah.
amazing. When
Yeah.
he's on the screen, you want to listen to what he has to say.
Yeah. So I wish they had just reversed, like given him maybe some other bigger role, or I don't know what. Maybe he
Yeah.
has a bigger role. I don't know. And then obviously the conversation between Hamza Ali Abbasi and Bali, where Hamza Ali Abbasi is like, I'm not gonna kill my friend, and that guy is pretty adamant on killing.
नहीं तो उसके साथ साथ हम दोनों को भी मरना पड़ेगा.
अरे नहीं यार, नहीं. अरे मेरे बचपन का दोस्त है वो, समझ भाई है मेरा.
So obviously there also there's something that has happened, because I feel like even though Bali was, because they did finish that story, right, where he says I'll go kill Mohsin Beg, but I don't think he killed him. So that would be interesting to see where that will go. And I think in the preview they show that Daniel Zafar, Mabrik's fiance, comes to know. So that also so I think now the pace is coming. Like I'm hoping, at least that's the hope.
Absolutely. I think good episode on the whole from my side.
Yeah.
Two things. Ek to I think I have parked my desire to see the donkey thing for now. I don't think it's happening anytime soon.
I don't think it's happening at all. That's the whole point of the show.
मुझे
I
लग
don't
रहा है
think
कि
it's happening at
होगा
all.
नहीं. So I'm gonna park it
छोड़ दो.
and like I watch this episode and I'll watch the next few episodes without that thought in my mind constantly. Secondly, I think I've realized that the most interesting track of all of these tracks is actually the one with QIP, Mohsin Beg, Batish, like you know how they all interacted and what their past is and what their future is going to be. So for me, for both of those things, one, I'm not gonna look at it with that lens. And secondly, given that a lot happened on the QIP wala pura track, we finally see who that guy is who we only ever heard on the speakerphone before.
शाह साहब जो अभी दुबई में बैठे हैं.
हाँ, जो अभी दुबई में बैठे हैं, exactly.
So is it like a parallel track to the current political situation? Like, are they trying to parallel track it?
It used to be. I think that is what they have kind of inspired by true events. So I think overall for me, this episode was really enjoyable after some time. I have also come to the realization that not all stories have have the same amount of meat in them. So it's fine if they show like, you know, a Babrik का जो scene था, वो सिर्फ 1-2 minute का scene था where he's, you know, थोड़ा सा emotional touch देने के लिए and also to remind us that he's there. But there was nothing more to it. You know, it was just a snippet of the family scene. Nothing happened really. You know, in that track, nothing happened. I enjoyed the initial scenes between Fasi and the love interest,
Yeah,
Sadia.
yeah.
Okay, I thought
He
that was
does a
nicely
good
done.
job. He does a good
Yeah,
job in whatever romance
in that
certainly in
zone,
that genre.
exactly, in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
softer zone.
Hmm.
He certainly doesn't do a good job at work. I think he's more
I
successful
think
in
we
his
have all
personal life.
concluded that he's not a good
Yeah.
policeman.
He needs some like serious like professional help. But I thought that scene was also cute with the mother, kind of saying ke tum reh jao, tum ruk jao.
Hmm.
And then motorbike, they brought it back from last episode, where she says
Hmm.
कि आपने Roman holiday देखी है, my dad used to take my mom.
That was sweet. Yeah.
Exactly. So they
वेस्पा तो नहीं है, ये चलेगा?
बिल्कुल। ये क्या कर रहे हो? मेरी बेटी को इज्जत के साथ गाड़ी में लेकर जाओ। ज्यादा हीरो बनने की जरूरत नहीं है।
kind of, taken that full circle and shown that.
And the mother is putting her nose between the romance.
Exactly.
Qarz-e-Jaan.
So गाड़ी में जाओ, yeah. I really enjoyed that conversation with Fussy and with Mohsen Beg, because I think if anybody in this whole thing is, can give takkar to QIP, it is actually Mohsen Beg.
It's definitely not Fussy.
It's not Fussy, and it's also not. Batish was a small piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
He's not the one who has that stature in the show
Correct.
to take them head on. So it has to be done under Mohsen Beg, which I think is a bit difficult to digest, because obviously you see Hamza Ali Abbasi and you expect him to kind of take the lead.
Be the flag bearer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think Mohsen Beg is the one who's going to be.
But now you see the interesting part, right? Like now if you put both of them next to each other, you can see that Mohsen Beg will overshadow Batish, just because of the way Batish is played, right? So that's done well with that intention. They don't want Hamza Batish to be this very decisive character, because they wanted another senior figure in. If Hamza Ali was his mature self, then it would be very difficult to pair that up.
Exactly.
And I think what will happen, and this is conjecture, is because Bali wants to kill Faraz, they will run off, those two. Batish will take Faraz and be like, chal, idhar se jate hai, because you will die if we stay back. And then somehow then Batish and Mohsen Beg and they will meet, and they will then take on QIP together. I have a feeling, because then Batish will tell his side of the story, and they'll realize that they were both wronged.
They were both exactly played by QIP.
So that'd be interesting. So that's why I don't think there's any donkey happening. They're all going to be in Pakistan.
Don't break my heart. Okay. I was counting on the donkey part. I think it's really important, like how they show the next, the scene where they ended, how it unfolds. Jahan pe they have the gun at Mohsen Beg.
Like the last scene.
It would be interesting to see how they show ke usme next kya hota hai. Like, does he just overpower them and kind of run or whatever? Yeah, there is something more that happens there, because that will kind of determine how this interaction will play. Because I don't think in the last 12 odd years they have actually come back or interacted with each other in any which way. So I think that would be
because that would also be connected to how this Bali had to leave Karachi and go wherever he is now, right?
Exactly.
So there must be something to do with that. And then how Bali became the leader.
Yeah, and now we also know that Bali is on the run, because he obviously doesn't want to be found out wherever he is. It's not like he had a clean break and now he's happy where he is. Like, there is that tension there as well.
Interesting. I liked it.
I'm almost glad, like, now that they've given us that Faraar's backstory, that they didn't delve into it again with that nurse and all of that. I'm like up to here with that story. So I'm glad, like, now they're just kind of focusing on the consequences of that romance that has happened. And I think wohi hoga ke it will be either. So I was thinking either they will escape, the two of them, Batish and Faraz. Or alternatively, Faraz will be killed, but only after telling Batish that I have this child. And because Abatish ka Sadia wala angle to khatam ho chuka hai, right? Like the reason, the raison d'etre of like this whole escapade is now over. She's clearly like moved
Bichara.
on.
No, Batish will find Buggy, na? B&B.
You think, oh,
I think I think they will start running.
okay,
She will be
yeah,
running, and somewhere they will kind of meet. Because
yeah,
she has to run away from the brothers, right? At some
she
point.
has to, because they are now on there.
So,
I didn't really show what that video was.
nahi, but aayega
And
na.
and do you think that she was molested by that truck, by that other guy who came in when he closes the doors and he closes
Yeah,
the windows?
yeah,
Do you think she
definitely.
was?
Yeah, definitely. That's
Okay,
why they.
because
I mean, I think so. Like, I don't know, but I'm assuming
because
that's
then he
why.
turns, yeah, because then he turns around and becomes like the witness on the rental deed, and she ends up marrying like his friend or something like that. So I
No, no.
have,
So he is the secretary of
yeah, the
Chaudhry
friend,
Ashfaq.
yeah,
Chaudhry Ashfaq is Chaudhry Akmal's friend. So I
yes,
think what happened is that I don't know. I have a feel. I mean, I'm trying to think what could have happened is that Chaudhry Akmal may have rescued her from them in a way, taken
but
her
they were the
under.
witnesses. They were
Yeah,
witnesses
yeah,
at the
and it must be
wedding.
almost like if you don't, then I will tell people what you did. Something like
Hmm.
political use that political capital
Yeah.
that तुम्हारा नाम खराब होगा in your group if you don't release her, and I'll take responsibility. So I think it must be that.
Hmm.
I feel that he must be
Or
her savior.
he offered her to Chaudhry Akmal or Chaudhry Ashfaq. Um, because
We'll see.
he's in that room. We don't know, like, what happened in that room. I guess we next episode में पता चलेगा कि what
He's the
happens in that
secretary
flat.
or PA of that Chaudhry Ashfaq, right?
हाँ,
Yeah, but I mean, basically, yeah, बेचारी एक
हाँ,
आग में से दूसरे आग में.
हाँ. So she will
But
have to at some point because they're on their way. But then he says, we don't have to go after her because of this video, and they show that video, and
we
obviously
don't
they
know.
don't
We'll
tell us.
see what
हाँ,
it
we
is.
don't know,
Yeah.
okay, what the video is. So
Mm-hmm.
initially जो हम लोग सोच रहे थे कि the brothers will end up going to wherever she is, to her village, and will then kind of force her to run. So maybe that won't happen. But now it'd be interesting to see what that video was, right? Unless he made a
Yeah.
video of hers, you know, um, unless this guy, that would have been, I don't know. That's like a weird note for it to go down. But let's see. Let's see if that is what they
Yeah, I mean,
release it with.
I'm now curious. So I want to see. I want to watch. Because
Yeah,
now I'm interested. They made me
yeah,
interested after a long time. So now I'm
absolutely.
interested. Yeah.
So I think
Um,
overall, it was a strong episode for
yeah,
me.
good pacing.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
enough,
very good.
I saw enough. Like, I usually, like, with Faraar, I'm left feeling that, okay, they didn't really
Mm.
like go further on any of the storylines. But this week I was like, okay, like, I've seen a few things which, okay, and I think the scenes were better because they were not
I
just
think
having scenes for
so.
the purpose of having scenes.
Yeah.
And I think Mohsin Beg has a lot to do with that. He's got a
Probably. I mean,
certain
I
kind
think
of
you're
interest
getting a
back.
better character in the TV show. And then some of the editing feels like weird because one, two scenes they just cut essay abruptly,
Huh.
like in the end. And then the mother ka scene, they're showing her closing the door also. So I feel like
Yeah.
somewhere they need to understand which scenes don't need to be transitioned for so long and which scenes need to be, because I felt that transition from I can't remember exactly what scene it was. Suddenly it was just cut, and then they are in that shadi
Yeah.
in the Fussi's house. So I was just like, okay, what just happened? But yeah,
Yeah.
but
They
I think
bring this,
overall, good.
I think they themselves are, to be honest, also experimenting with the storytelling format, and they're trying to see what is, they're obviously trying to make it into a very, like, okay, it's not the same kind of gore या क्या, but like some kind of intrigue, जैसे OTT shows में होते हैं, streaming shows में, they're
And I
trying to give
mean,
it that treatment. And I think it's almost a work in progress for themselves as well, the editors and the directors. So I think the
Probably,
story,
yeah.
so the story might have been written, okay, acha, these 4 parallel tracks and all of that, but the way you translate that is very much the direction.
Yeah,
And it may just feel confusing a little bit sometimes because obviously there are 2 directors. So again, I don't
probably.
know. Yeah, I've never really seen a show with 2 directors, which, no, to be honest, like I take that back. There are lots of shows with two
Okay,
directors that have done really well.
okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
yeah.
But I
So
mean, I think much better from last 2 episodes were much better than the previous
yeah,
episodes, I would say, yes. So
yeah.
let's see what happens next week. I wish they
So
come up with,
now, huh?
are they going to do 2 episodes a week as well? No,
No, I don't think so.
no.
I mean, I
Okay,
have not
fine.
heard anything on this
Okay,
one. So I think that's
okay.
then a wrap on Faraar for this week. Good episode, has us intrigued for more. Okay, so on that note, moving on to Qarz-e-Jaan. Lovely episode. First of all, like the good news is that next week and onwards, it's going to be 2 episodes per week, both Saturday and Sunday. It's been something we've been wanting for some
We
time. So
we need 2 episodes. I cannot take this. Yeah, I can't take this anymore. Like it's too intense. Like this episode, I was literally had like my biting my nails. I didn't bite them, but more like
yeah,
oh shit, kya hoga types, you know.
huh,
So I don't know. I'm so invested now. Like I
yeah.
just can't.
I think it's
Uh,
amazing that they give us so much information and yet they keep us wanting for they leave us wanting
yeah,
for more. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because Qarz-e-Jaan always happens and like the time period is not that long that they cover in one
No.
episode. But
Mm,
again, like in that one time period, we see everybody. So we see what Dadi is thinking, what Faryal is thinking, Burhan के भी scenes
hmm.
है, Nashwa के भी scenes है, Ammar का भी we saw. So I thought it was a really packed episode.
And you also see not like random conversation, you see like
Exactly.
meaningful converstions, right? Like
Yeah.
this time
Yeah.
was obviously her on the table saying, sorry, but I'm not going to marry
Yeah.
uh, your
Faryal
grandson.
really gives it back.
Yeah,
Really
man,
does
I love
लगता है.
it. I love it. She's just like,
Yeah.
There's no point talking about this anymore. And the see on the table, it's almost like you could feel that tension, you
Tension.
know, you
Yeah.
could almost feel that tension.
Yeah.
लेकिन मैं आपकी बहू नहीं बन सकती।
But oh my god, the romance scenes between Yumna and Usama, oh, such lovely scenes, right?
Yeah.
Like I love he's really giving her so many hints. Okay, I was thinking
हाँ.
about you. I need you more than they do.
हाँ.
How mere saath baitho, and like so many, and she's just like not giving into it because she's of course angry. But
हाँ.
I think obviously she sees him as Burhan sir because she keeps saying Burhan sir, Burhan sir. You
Yeah.
almost want to smack her and be like, woman, like,
He's
see?
not, because if you notice, like he suddenly stopped calling her Miss Nashwa. From Miss Behzad to Miss Nashwa, now it's just Nashwa. Now he's
No,
like
he calls her Miss Nashwa, Baba.
Nashwa. When he's sitting having that kheer with her, he's like Nashwa. It was he calls her Nashwa
Oh,
now.
but next day in the court, he's Miss Nashwa,
Maybe
right?
in front of other. I don't. I mean, I didn't notice the next day, but I definitely noticed when he didn't call her Miss Nashwa. So and I thought it
Anyway.
was very, because you always see him from that lawyer wala cheez.
Hmm.
So again, I feel like, Osama. Okay, so I don't think Osama Khan is traditionally, and I may be wrong. I don't know what other people feel, but I don't like see him to be like, very like, oh my God, he's so good looking kind of a thing, right? But I think
Huh,
it's his character that's making
huh.
him look better, in my view, than like, he's
Hmm,
really
hmm,
grown on me even as an actor. I haven't seen any
hmm,
of his other work before.
hmm,
So I thought, he and they both look good together. So I thought like even that part for me was addressed. Shuru mein I was a bit like, okay, who is he kind of
hmm,
thing. He
hmm,
kaun
hmm,
hai?
hmm, hmm.
But I thought like exactly like that scene, that shuru ka scene with the chemistry, with the kheer wali cheese, it was
Hmm.
so nicely done. And he didn't give up. मुझे लगा
No,
अब
no,
खत्म
no.
होगा, अब रुकेगा, because इससे पहले there hasn't been like such an onslaught, like पहले then he blocks her way and
कुछ लोगों पे सिर्फ सच सूट करता है।
says कि कुछ लोगों को झूठ बिल्कुल सूट नहीं करता, then he's like उनके साथ तो अब हमेशा होती है,
रुक जाएं, वो लोग तो हमेशा आपके साथ होते हैं। इस वक्त मुझे आपकी ज्यादा जरूरत है।
मुझे आपकी ज्यादा जरूरत है। What's the third thing he says to her? He says something else as well.
He tells her ना that मुझे उस लड़की की मदद करनी है जो फिर परिंदों को आजाद करती है and whatever.
Yeah.
So,
and also मैं आप ही के बारे में सोच रहा था।
मैं आपके बारे में सोच रहा था। Please.
Of course.
I think that really switches something in Yumna as well.
No, but I mean, she is, I guess in her head where she's come, when he's telling all this, she's thinking he's just trying to pacify me because I'm angry, right? I don't think she's thinking that he's like trying to be romantic, because I don't think she's ever seen him that way, right? Because वो घर भी जाती है and she's thinking about what he tells her about that statement that he remember. It doesn't strike her that he saw me on the signal and he remembers करके, you know. She's like, हाँ मेरे साथ ऐसे और उसके साथ वैसे और वैसे भी फरियाल और माँ से थोड़ी शादी करेगी वो तो बुरहान सर जैसे. So she's like somewhere in her mind she can't switch on the romantic angle with him. And even bichara next day he's like, let's go for lunch. She's like, नहीं मुझे घर जाना है मैं taxi के. I mean, why?
Yeah,
like,
and
why?
he's like, I'll drop you. And she's like, नहीं मैं रिक्शा ले लेती हूँ. Like, it's fine. Like,
मैं तुम्हें खा नहीं जाऊँगा. He also says
he also says that. I find like that was such a human thing to say, right?
Yeah.
मैं तुम्हें खा नहीं जाऊँगा and all that. And then I think कुछ हल्का सा होता है, because when she's walking out, she does like look back at him and waves at him. And she's a little bit dazed, which is why she...
Yeah. I think she's just like uncomfortable and she just wants to get out of that situation almost, it feels. Which is very weird. Like, I mean, just latch on to it, woman, otherwise you're going to get married to Amma.
Exactly. Don't you know, like, everybody has other options, okay? So, like, be quick. I felt like that accident. I know we're coming to the last scene now, but the accident was completely unexpected for me. I was not expecting that to happen. And then the following scene where he's like, and then again he's like, Nashwa,
Nashwa, stay away.
She's holding like onto his hand.
Nashwa, आँखें नहीं बंद करनी.
And then he sees the blood on her hand, and I think even like the way he says that I'm responsible for her. When the doctor asks, doctor को भी तो वही सवाल पूछता था ना, आपका relationship क्या है patient के साथ?
But I almost found that a bit like odd. Like it's a doctor's response. You can't. Not anyone can just sign a consent form for surgery. It has to be a relative.
I thought it can be, a family member, or it can even be a friend. But there has to be.
But okay, but ऐसे भी नहीं बोला मैं उसका cousin हूँ. I'm responsible for.
Yeah, I thought he would say that I'm her cousin. Yeah, like saying I am her cousin would have been completely fine to say.
Yeah. But this, and the doctor's also like, oh, okay, fine, that's right. You are responsible for her. Yeah. Like that cannot be a relation.
Like you can't give like cryptic answers to the doctor, okay? Like you're not
exactly.
Exactly.
But I felt like that was very. Do you think it's symbolic? कि उसका हाथ छूट गया ऐसे? Do you think it's symbolic?
I don't know that. Because obviously like the Dadi on the other side is full
kal shaadi kara do.
I thought it was I thought that her tightening her grip on his hand was symbolic, but yes, like I don't want to know, like I don't want to think about it, but I think it was like the way like the hands go apart.
I think really... I can see the story progress now in a very weird way. Because I don't want to think about it. Because it almost feels like, she'll be like, I'll marry Ammar if you let my mother go or something.
Yeah. And that has started. That track has now started. I like the fact that he called Asim and said that, please bring Bisma auntie to the hospital. Like, relaxed and calm. And Asim now goes, and obviously, he'll take Bisma and they'll get a chance to speak, or Bisma will at least, because abhi tak Asim has spoken about Bisma. He has Barrister Burhan has spoken about Bisma. The daughter has, but Bisma herself hasn't really addressed it, right?
Right. Right.
This whole thing with Asim. So
But
maybe
this,
that will give her
this
time.
Khala. Now, what's her name? What's the older lady? The sister?
Dadi?
Call her? No.
Api, like the
Api.
yeah.
Kutsi
What's her
Api.
name? Kutsi Api, exactly.
So that name doesn't roll from my tongue. Huh? Mujhe to
Yeah.
gaal, it sounds like in Hindi. But anyway, so she will be super happy, na? Because her daughter is free to marry Burhan if
Yeah.
Nashwa marries Ammar.
Although
Like,
वही बात है कि nobody's evil in that sense. She's not evil in that sense कि वो, if there is she's still very reasonable. But I do see that, if Dadi is saying कि Ammar and Nashwa की शादी हो, so that kind of, and she's addressed to the daughter as well, right? She's addressed with Faraar to say, have you thought of Burhan? And she's like, yeah, socha ja sakta hai. But by the way, that scene with Faraar on the table, huh? Where she gives
yeah,
it
and
back,
very calmly, yeah, she's like,
yeah.
this is not happening, dudes.
Yeah.
Like,
She looks at the
forget
mother
about it.
first. She looks at the mother in almost like, why have you not shut this down already? Kind of a
Yeah.
situation, kind of a way. And then she's like, okay, if not you, then I'll just, say it how it is. And I really like कि इसमें ना इस drama में they show her एक reaction, not in a Star Plus way like but they'll still like show okay
Everyone's reacting to the
Bakhtiar is reacting
situation.
this way, and everybody on that table has a different reaction. Like Nashwa is just like, okay, this is awkward.
Nashwa, the mother's like,
yeah,
don't look up, don't look up, don't look
mother
up.
is like mother is staring at the omelette.
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
like, if I stare hard enough at the omelette, like I'll disappear from here. The
But
sister tries to defend
normal,
her.
right? We are also, if you're sitting and you're caught in a situation like that, I would be looking
Exactly.
down. I would not be even
Exactly.
looking at anyone on the table, right? I would be like, please, can I just leave the room now?
Yeah. Like everybody on the table was just like, excuse me. And like I felt like Bichari, and the Ammar's mother tries to defend the sister. Because the sister looks at her as well, right? To say, why are you keeping quiet? And then she does to try to defend her, but Zaidi shuts her up as
doesn't want
well.
to listen to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that sister is like so. Like, I just find that no one has told Bisma that Nashwa ki shaadi Ammar se hogi.
Yeah.
Like
she has
she's just
gone
like
to the saat wale ghar.
cutting.
Exactly. She's cutting
vegetables
vegetable with a burnt finger, and like she's gone to the saat wale ghar and she's discussing ke acha ab mujhe uske, and also which is the weird thing for me was that, so I thought like I like the sister. I mean, I like the Ammar's mother so far, especially after her chat with the sister last time. But her concern is not she 100% believes that her son is like amazing, is perfect, right?
No, I don't think he's perfect. I don't think she believes he's perfect. I think she believes he's wronged by the father.
Yeah.
That's what she believes. That if
and
he
that
has
he
a better behavior, then the son will also be a better person by watching the father.
Like he has a lot of potential to be better, basically. And her concern nowhere is that Bisma does not know, she's not on board, that Nashwa has not been asked, that Ammar has not been asked. She's like, oh, अभी तो हमने दीनिश की शादी की है, अभी कैसे होगी शादी की तैयारी, और उसकी भी तैयारी हमें ही करनी पड़ेगी. She's off on a different tangent. And you're like, hello, earth to her. Like,
and her sister is like, have they asked the two people who are getting married? No.
Yeah.
Asim is like, okay, not another one, not again.
But again, itni subtlety है show में कि I thought कि Asim's reaction would have been like, what? Kya matlab? And he was just like, he kept drinking his tea, and he was just like,
there it goes again.
Yeah, there it goes again. There wasn't a massive reaction.
My heart will break if this Ammar and Nashwa get married. Oh my God.
So I don't, especially, so I was thinking, okay, ab Dadi has said this, so ye ho jayega. But when the accident scene happened, okay, in all honesty, I do think um, कि ये नहीं होगा. I do think that she will get married, the mother will get married to Asim, ठीक है, after this whole hospital part, like it will give her a chance to reconnect with Asim and all of that will happen. I do also think that Nashwa will get married to Burhan. I do. Okay. But then I don't know how that will happen because 100% like the Dadi and the Taya will not, or the Chacha, whoever, like builder there, he will not like agree to Nashwa marrying Burhan because that'd be like a double rejection for his son, and he'd be like, like that's not on. So I don't know how that will happen, but or they have just escalated the Burhan and what's the name? Nashwa connection in this episode or in the last couple of episodes to take it to that point where Nashwa turns around to him and says, "I'm sorry, but I can't marry you." To show some angst on there. They both know they love Burhan. Like maybe like they're trying to take it to that point where they both know that they love each other, and yet she will say, "I'm sorry, I can't."
Why will she say no?
Because she wants to get the mother married, right? She'll say, "I have one option, I have one card to play, and I'm going to use that for my mother."
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the only way she will agree. Otherwise, she's not going to agree to marry Ammar. Why would she?
But I don't understand Ammar ki jo unhone dikhai hai, theek hai, character. And tell me what you think as well. But I find it really odd that they keep trying to show him in some kind of like some kind of a redemption arc for him. Like what his father did was pretty bad. Like slapped him in front of the friends, right? Now, and they kind of showed that his reaction, like he goes, he smokes a joint, he's then like, putting things on fire and all of that. Like, they're almost trying to show that uska behavior hai, that is because of his problems with his father. But this is the same guy who has, at least like lied to a person, left her for dead, took her into that room, spiked her drink. Agar aap ye bhi bolo ke, just as some people are saying, ke, oh, they will show ke he wasn't one of the rapists, or, his friends did it, but put it on him because he couldn't remember. But whatever else he has done is still bad enough.
What I'm finding actually, and which I noticed, is that for a character like Ammar's character, so if you think about who's driving the storyline, if you think about it, right, it's the mother, the Nashwa's mother, Burhan, and Ammar. Right? These are like the four. If you think about how the stories are getting pulled, but who's pulling them? And for a main character like Ammar, they haven't really shown a lot about him. Like in the sense that they've only shown that okay, he went, did this thing, and now he went. Like they're not showing anything like daily life, like except him misbehaving and talking down on people. But they're not showing a lot about him. Like any kind of he's sitting, for example, if he is what he is today is because of his father's behavior, whatever. They could have shown flashbacks. So when he was younger with his father or some conversation. I just feel a big piece of why he is the way he is missing. What makes him who he is? Why is he like this? It's missing. Right? And it can't just be that because his father thinks he's useless and he's nakama and that. So it could be that, but I feel like that character is not drawn out well amongst all the characters, and that is for me a bit of a problem now that we are in like 14th episode, right? If there are 25 episodes, let's say.
Yeah. And I think it is a disservice to the character because you're almost, pitching him to be, as you said, one of the main levers of the story.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, you're not giving him any context. So you're not helping the audience decide anything about him. They have alluded to in the past where they said, where Nashwa initially was speaking to Barrister Burhan and she says, oh, this is not the first time that he's gotten into trouble. पहले भी 2-3 दफा हुआ है, cases हुए हैं ये वो, but it has been brushed under the carpet. मैं आपको details देती हूँ. So I would like to, and also because he is going to become like such a central figure later on, because later on they're going to have that case is going to be reopened, or one side is going to be Burhan.
I mean,
one
jo
side
bhi
is going to be
hoga,
Nashwa.
basically people's lives are going to be driven by him, because of him,
Exactly,
right? If, for example, then we need to know a bit more about him, unless they're going to spend the latter half on him, which is also possible. Like,
you mean
basically,
पहले बाकियों को establish करके थोड़ा then they suddenly
maybe
come
they
together.
are building Burhan and all of these people up, so that they don't have to then further talk about them later if they're going to talk about Ammar a lot later, because probably that is it. Now, I'm just guessing, but I'm interested to see what happens. I'm very.
I think it would make sense, because if Ammar is going to be the centerpiece discussion or the center conflict, right? Or Ammar's story is going to be the conflict, or what his behavior is. So they may be keeping the story for that. Okay, why is he the way he is? I like currently I don't like Ammar's character. I mean, no, the actor is doing a good job in all of that, but I don't like the fact they're trying to make us feel any kind of sympathy for him.
Sympathy towards him, yeah.
Exactly, because आपने एक case शुरू किया था. I know you're coming back to that, but we can't switch off from that, right? As an audience.
They've lost time, right? I feel like he said, I will look into the matter. And now, like, they're not showing he has followed up with the police, or he's got any, like, they're not progressing that case at all. They're just progressing this internal family dynamic.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested in, like, I don't know how they're going to suddenly pop that out later, or maybe
how it will,
maybe Burhan will get really upset and then he'll be like all out Ammar or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, you do know that there is a lot more in store in the story, which is a good thing. And with 2 episodes a week, I think it'll be like amazing to watch more.
Yeah, like, thank God, I can't take this one episode every week.
Because at least like there's at least like 14 or like whatever 10 episodes more to go, right? And 14 episodes more to go in the show, for it to even be like a normal length show. So I do think that a lot is coming up, but also a lot has happened. So I also don't want it to be a case where things keep happening and then keep going in the past, and then people keep forgetting them, and moving on to like new problems, new conflicts, new characters. I don't think new characters will come anymore. I think everybody who's in the khichdi is already there in the khichdi now. So I think like there's definitely going to be like a Faraar and Burhan angle, because Faraar is now thinking actively about him. The mother has spoken to Asim also, who has spoken to Zaidi also. So there's that whole khichdi being pakawed. Then Dadi Jaan is like doing Nashwa and Ammar, plus now Bakhtiar and all, they all know. So there are almost these different things that are happening, and I want to know how they're gonna give us a logical next step without it being because they've established the characters, like without the characters doing something out of character.
Anyway, I'm enjoying the show as always. I think I'm more invested now with the romance because they showed some romantic angle. So I'm looking forward to now Saturday, Sunday. You said no?
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, good. So 2 episodes a weekend. Good. That's good.
Yeah. So that's fine. We'll continue. We'll continue reviewing it on Mondays for you. And I think on that note, we have spoken our hearts out about both Faraar and Qarz-e-Jaan.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will see you guys next week with another review. On this review, let us know. Like, we are still confused about this whole Ammar situation. So let us know what your thoughts are. Why do you think ये सारा sympathy वाला angle डाल रहे हैं? Also, let us know what you think about the romance between Barrister Burhan and Nashwa, and all the other different things that are going on in both Qarz-e-Jaan and Faraar. On that note, thank you for
Thank you
watching.
very much. Yeah. Bye. See you.
Keep watching. Bye.